Hello students, this video is the second part of the chapter His First Flight. Now let's continue with the remaining chapter. Ga ga ga, he cried, begging her to bring him some food. Now ga ga ga, when the seagull saw that the mother is just sitting before him, just is in front of him, and she is eating a kind of fish, and she's also scraping his beak to make it sharp. So the seagull shouted ga 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 because he was feeling very hungry and he wanted to eat the fish which his mother was eating. Gaul Kol, she screamed back derisively. Now, derisively means in a manner showing someone that he or she is stupid. Now, the mother was thinking that this seagull is very stupid kind of bird. So, she also shouted in return. She also screamed. Scream means shouted. And what she shouted? Ga Kol A. But he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. Now, the seagull was very sad that the mother was not looking at him, not listening at him, not giving him food to eat. So, he was again and again calling his mother, in spite of the fact that in return his mother was also screaming. But the seagull was not feeling bad. He was again and again calling his mother with sadness that please give me something to eat, I am feeling very hungry. His mother had picked up a piece of the fish and was flying across to him with it. Now the mother took the piece of the fish and she started flying towards the seagull with the piece of fish in his mouth. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. So, when the seagull saw that the mother was flying towards him, the seagull also started moving towards the mother because he wanted to get near the mother. But when she was just opposite to him, she halted. Now, a position came when the mother was standing just opposite to the seagull, but there she paused. She did not come forward, she paused. There was some kind of distance between the seagull and the mother. Her wings motionless. She was not flying, she was just standing. The piece of fish in her beak almost within the reach of his beak. Now, easily the seagull could take up the fish from her mouth, from the mother's mouth, but still there was some distance between them. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. Now, the seagull was thinking that a very little distance the mother is standing in front of me, so why she is not coming near me? If she wants to give that piece of fish to me to eat, so why she is not coming near me? So the seagull was very surprised, and without thinking anything, he jumped at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space. Now, as he jumped on the fish which his mother was having, he jumped outside suddenly. Then a monstrous terror seized him and his heart stood still. Now he was very shocked when he jumped outside. He did not knew how to fly, so he was afraid that now he was going to die. So his heart was filled with terror, with fear. But it only lasted a minute. But that terror, that fear was only for 1 minute. The next moment he felt his wings spread outwards. Immediately he saw that when he has fallen outwards into the space out of the ledge, he realized that his wings has spread outwards in the outward direction. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. Suddenly he felt that when he flapped his wings, the wind has touched his wings, and the wind also touched his stomach, and he felt that the wings were cutting the wind. He could feel the tip of his wings cutting through the air. Now, if you swim in the water, what you do? you have to move your hands. So when you move your hands in the water, it seems that you are cutting the water. Similarly, when he was moving his wings in the air, he felt like he was cutting the air. He was not falling headlong now. Headlong means to fall downside through the head, means sir ke bal girna. So now he realized that he was not falling down. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. Now, just like any bird moves, which is the normal movement of the bird in the sky, how he moves of slightly upward, then slightly downward, then again upward, then downward. Similarly, this seagull was also flying. He was no longer afraid. Now he was flying very smoothly without any fear or terror. He just felt a bit dizzy. Dizzy means an uncomfortable feeling of spinning around and losing one's balance. Now, first time he was flying, so somewhere in his mind, he thought that maybe I may lose my balance, but he was not terrified of that. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. Then he started flapping his wings and he started moving upward in the sky. Ga 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 ga, go kol a. Now, what he was saying when he was flying in the sky while flapping his wings, he was saying again ga ga ga, gaw kol a. His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. Now, when the seagull was flying in the air, the mother was also flying around him. He answered her with another scream. The mother was shouting with joy because now she was very happy to see the seagull flying. So she was also shouting with joy, and in response, the seagull was also shouting. Then his father flew over him screaming. Father was also shouting and moving around him. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. So the whole family was moving around him in the protection that maybe if he fall, then they will take care of him. But he was flying very smoothly, and the two brothers and sister, they were also soaring in the sky, they were flying in the sky, and they were diving in the water. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commended himself to dive and soar and curve, shrieking shrilly. Shrilly means in a loud, piercing voice. So now he realized that this was means he felt that this was not the first time that he was flying, because he was flying very smoothly, very properly, without any terror or fear, and he was soaring also, he was diving also, and at the same time he was shouting also with joy. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. Means downside was the ocean and he was just flying above the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. Now he himself was feeling very proud of himself, because he observed that just beneath him, just below him, was a very deep sea, and he was not falling in the sea, he was flying very smoothly in the sky. So he felt very proud of himself. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. Now, his parents and his brother and sister, they were also moving just around him. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. They were also shouting because they were also so happy to see the seagull flying. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. Now, on the surface of the water, he positioned his legs and he was standing on the surface. His legs sank into it. He was slowly and slowly going inside the water. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. When he realized that he was going deep into the water, he thought that maybe I will die in the water. So again he shouted with terror, with fear, and he flapped his wings, and by flapping his wings he again tried to come on the surface of the water. But he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. Now, this seagull has not eaten anything since last one day. So he was feeling very nervous, very weak from inside. His body did not have the courage or did not have the energy to support the wings. His feet sank into the green sea, and then his belly touched it, and he sank no farther. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. Now he thought that I don't have that much of energy to flap my wings and to come back to the surface of the water, but still somehow he tried and he was successful in that. He did not went inside the water, but he was floating on the surface of the water, and all the family members, they were moving around him, they were praising him, they were appreciating him, they were shouting, and their beaks were offering. Now this seagull got the pieces of fish to eat, because the family members themselves have given him now fish to eat, because they were now successful in teaching him how to fly. He had made his first flight. So this was the first flight. Till now he was just standing on the ledge alone. He was making his efforts to fly, but he was not successful in that. But only because of the greed or the attraction of the food, that his mother was standing opposite to him and not giving him food to eat in spite of being hungry. So that greed within himself, that I also want the fish to eat, that greed has made him fly in the sky, and that was his first flight. For the first time he was flying in the sky. So this is all about the chapter. We can say that, in other words, his mother has tempted him to fly. Why she was standing at some distance? Because she knew that when the seagull will try to take the fish from me, so in that effort, obviously he will open his wings and he will automatically fly. Okay, so this is all about the chapter. In the next video we will discuss the question answers of the chapter. Thank you.